have had a pleasant class yesterday in discussing about the hierarchical clustering technique, and today we are going to have another clustering technique which is going to be called as the DB scan or the density based clustering technique. Before going to this topic, let me recap the yesterday's class, or if you have any sort of doubts from the yesterday's class, kindly let me know so that I can clear your doubts. If you have any sort of, kindly raise your hand with the help of the chat box or anything, and we can go with today's class. So yesterday, let me recap yesterday's class once in one or 2 minutes. So we have gone through the agglomerative clustering, which is a part of the hierarchical clustering. The hierarchical clustering is classified into two types. One is the agglomerative clustering and the divisive clustering. And in order to measure the similarity between these things, we have calculated the similarity measure or the distance measure between the two clusters or between the two different objects existing in the two different clusters with the help of four techniques, distance measure techniques. The one is the Euclidean distance, the other one is the squared Euclidean distance. The next one is the Manhattan distance measure, what we have calculated. And the last one, what we have gone through, is the cosine distance measure. And as you people know that hierarchy is arranging the things in the form of ascending or descending order in the form of a tree structure, from the top down or bottom up upwards fashion. So agglomerative hierarchical clustering is nothing but starting from the leaf nodes, will be crawling to till the root node, where we are going to form or left out with a single cluster. And in the reverse, we have another clustering called as the divisive clustering, where we'll start at the top and will come down. We'll start at the top and we'll come down till we reach the leaf node. So today's learning outcomes, so these are things which keep on following for this entire week, because for this entire week we are going to cover the entire clustering topic, starting from what is clustering, recognizing the importance of the clustering in data mining, and we are going to compare different types of data which we have already done, and now we are in the different clustering methods. So as a part of the different clustering methods, we have already discussed the two types of clustering techniques, starting with the k-means clustering, which is nothing but the partitional algorithm, and we have gone through the hierarchical clustering. In that one, where we have came across the agglomerative hierarchical clustering and divisive hierarchical clustering. So today we are going to discuss about the another kind of clustering technique, which is called as the DB scan. So why we are going with the DB scan when we have the k-means clustering algorithm and the two different types of the hierarchical clustering algorithm? Even though we have the two different types of clustering algorithms which are going to measure the clustering, we have left out with some of the drawbacks in the k-means clustering algorithm and hierarchical clustering, where the noise ratio is very more in the k-means clustering and hierarchical clustering. So when the noise is more, then it is not that easy to form the qualitative clusters. So in order to overcome the noise and in order to overcome the error. Error is also a kind of noise. So in order to overcome these two things, we are going to study the advanced techniques in the clustering, which is called as the DB scan, which is nothing but the density based technique, and the abbreviation of that one we are going to see in the next slide. So, clustering based on the density, the name reveals the density based cluster, which is nothing but the clustering based on. Students, kindly all of you mute your these things. I'm getting a lot of disturbance. So clustering based on density, which is nothing but the local cluster criterion. Specifically, if you look into this one, the meaning of the density is nothing but in a given particular area, what is the number of objects that can be available, or what is the number of clusters that can be available at a given space, right? So the density will be calculated in that particular fashion. I repeat, students, kindly all of you mute your these things. I repeat once again, kindly mute. I am getting a lot of disturbance. Okay, so here this is about the density in a given specific area. What are the number of objects which are available, and the number of clusters available in that particular region. So the major features of this density based cluster is how, because as I told that in order to perform the clustering technique, the objects which are available, irrespective of the color, irrespective of the size, irrespective of the shape, the clusters need to be formed and the clusters need to be identified, and the algorithms need to be applied across all these three by leaving or by not considering all these three factors. The one is irrespective of the shape, irrespective of the size, and irrespective of the color of that particular cluster. So the major features of this one are discover clusters of arbitrary shape. So irrespective of any given shape, the DB scan clustering is going to identify the shape of the object, and it is going to organize, or it is going to group them in the form of a cluster by applying this DB scan clustering algorithm, what we are going to see. And one more thing is handling the noise. So we have gone through the k-means clustering and hierarchical clustering, where a few of the noise, or the better one to say about this noise, are the objects which are outliers, we are going to call them as, means which will not fall into any sort of the cluster, but they have become the part of the cluster if we implement the k-means algorithm and hierarchical clustering algorithm. But once we take up this DB scan algorithm, then we can remove such sort of noise and outlier clusters. And the next one is one scan. What do you mean by this one scan? The meaning of this one scan is that each and every object present in that particular area, in that particular density of that location, is going to be scanned at least once in order to compile that particular object is going to fall under which particular cluster. So at least once each and every object is going to be scanned, and it is going to be placed into the appropriate cluster if it fits those particular properties. If it is not going to fit any of the properties of any of the clusters which are formed, then it is left alone and it is going to be called as the outlier, what we are going to see. Next, need density parameters as termination condition. So here we need two important density parameters in order to learn this DB-scan technique. So what are these density parameters? We are going to see in the coming slide. So here, first thing we are going to study about the DB-scan, and the next one we are going to study about the optics, which is also the part of the DB-scan technique. Because once we have a few limitations in the DB-scan, then we can go with the optics. So here, the DB-scan algorithm consists of density-based clustering, a density-based clustering algorithm. So here, it is an unsupervised method that clusters core samples, dense areas of a data set, and denotes non-core samples, sparse portions of the data set. So the clustering, what we are studying, all the clustering techniques, what we have started with the k-means, hierarchical, all these fall under the unsupervised method, whereas the classifications, what we have learned in our fourth unit already, they fall under the supervised learning technique. So here, when in order to identify the object to fall into a particular cluster, we need to consider the area of the clusters, means we need to consider the dense part of the data set. Then only we can perform the DB-scan technique. If we don't have the dense data set, then it will be very difficult to make use of this one. And use it to identify collective outliers. And this is also responsible for identifying the collective outliers. Because if you are left out with a single object, then we can say that it is a single outlier. But when we come across a group of outliers across the available clusters or in a given data objects, then they are going to be called as the collective outliers. But don't think that these collective outliers once again are going to be form a cluster. There is no meaning in calling them as the cluster once again. They are left as outliers because it is not possible to be part of any of the clusters what is being given here, what we are going to have the cluster. So that's why we are calling them as outliers. So these outliers cannot be cannot be into any sort of cluster, and these outliers cannot be form any sort of group of outliers, cannot be any sort of cluster also. So outliers should make up less than or equal to 5% of the total observation, and we are going to adjust model parameters accordingly. So here, important DB-scan model parameters. So what are these important DB-scan model parameters? The first one is EPS. So we can call it as EPS or we can call it as epsilon. Okay, EPS or epsilon. So the maximum distance between two samples for them to be clustered in the same neighborhood. Okay, the maximum distance between two samples for them in a given neighborhood. Just a second. Okay, I couldn't find. Okay, so here the maximum distance between two samples for them to be clustered in the same neighborhood. What do you mean by this two samples for them to be clustered in the same neighborhood? Here the EPS is nothing but uh, it is a kind of unit. Suppose if you want to draw a circle, right? What is the minimum radius or the maximum radius we are going to consider? Suppose we select one unit as some particular radius. The unit can be either in millimeters or centimeters when we draw a particular radius, and once we draw a circle across that particular radius, that is the distance, the maximum distance what we are going to cover in that one. And the min samples, the minimum number of samples in a neighborhood for a data point to qualify as a core point, right? So you do remember these 2 points. What is the importance of these 2 points we are going to discuss in the next slide. The minimum number of samples in a neighborhood for a data point to qualify as a core point. So when a set of data points are being given, randomly we will be picking any one of the data point and we are calling it as a core point. When we are calling it as a core point, if it satisfies these 2 important parameters. What are those 2 important parameters? One is the EPS and the other one is the min sample. So what is this EPS? EPS is nothing but the radius of a particular circle. When we circle or eclipse or ellipse or anything, because we cannot confine the shape of a particular cluster or anything. So by taking a unit and once we draw a circle across that particular data unit, that is going to be called as the EPS. And what is the minimum number of samples? Samples in the sense, once again here, the samples are nothing but once again the data points which should lie across the core data point what we are going to select. So here the important point is that start with very low sample size. The sample size should be as low as possible. It can be 2, 3, 4, or 5 and maximum 6 we can say. And the next one. So if you look here, the DB scan, the abbreviation of the DB scan. Kindly make note of this or remember this one because we are going to use this abbreviation frequently. So the density based spatial clustering of application with noise. Density based spatial clustering of applications with noise. D for density, B for base, S for spatial, C for clustering, A for application with noise. So it includes the noise and these noise will be removed in the process called as the point what we have studied is the outliers. The noise is removed in the form of outliers because we are calling outlier because that particular point will not fit into any of these things. So the 2 parameters are the first one EPS, maximum radius of the neighborhood, what we are going to select, and the minimum points, minimum number of points in the EPS neighborhood of a point. So here if you look into this particular circle, if you take any one of the circle which is been mentioned here, right? So there is a center point which is nothing but the data point which is mentioned here, and by selecting this one we are going to draw a radius, and once we draw the radius we are going to draw a circle across that one. So here if you look on to the right side here, I have represented epsilon as 1 unit, epsilon as 1 unit, and the minimum points what I have represented here are 5. So if you see here, the epsilon is represented as 1 unit and the minimum points what are represented are 5 in number. So for the given data set, it is going to be divided into 3 different categories. We have the first important thing is we need to remember in order to implement the DB scan clustering technique, we need to have the 2 important parameters. One is the EPS, which is nothing but the maximum radius of the neighborhood, and the next one is the minimum point. So it is our thing that to what extent we can take this EPS, whether I can take it as 1 unit or 2 unit, it depends. And the minimum number of points also we can choose on our own. And next, here if you look here, the next point, a point is a core point if it has more than specified number of points. More than specified number of points in the sense minimum points with EPS, within EPS. So within EPS, EPS is nothing but the circle area, the circumference of a circle we can say. If you take this as a core point, if you want to take this particular point as a core point, and once we draw a line, and once you draw the line, you need to draw a circle across this particular radius, and once you draw the radius, once you draw the circle across this radius, then it is going to become within EPS. This is going to be called as within EPS. So here EPS is 1 unit, and we are going to call it as a core point if it has more than specified number of points. More than specified number of points. So what is the more than specified number of points? It is minimum points what is being mentioned here. So minimum points are nothing but here 5 in number, what we have mentioned already if you look on the right side. So when we have these minimum 5 points, you see the number of points which are existing in this particular circle, including this core point, right? So the core point is one of the given point. Apart from that, here we have another point, the second one, the third one, fourth, fifth, and the sixth. So here we have come across 6 different points. So as it is qualifying the criteria that a point is a core point if it has more than a specified number of points. So minimum points within EPS, more than specified number. Also the specified number of points are 5, and the number of points which are existing in this particular circle is 5 in number, 6 in number. So it is meeting the criteria. So this particular center point is called as a core point, and I have mentioned it in the square box saying it as a core point. And next, the border point has fewer than minimum points within EPS, but it is in neighborhood of the core point. So the border point has fewer than minimum points. So a point is said to be a border point if it has fewer than the minimum point. The minimum point is 5 points. So it should be less than the minimum points what is being mentioned here. As it is minimum point is 5, and if anything less than 5, it can be 4, 3, 2, then we can call it as the border point. So it is being mentioned here that if you look here, this is the point which is called as the border point, and the points which are lying in this particular circle, these two. And one more important point is there is another point which is falling on the border of this particular circle, right? So we can define this border point in the 2 ways. A border point has fewer than minimum points within EPS, but it is neighborhood of a core point because it is neighbor. This is the core point, and if you take this one as the core point, suppose the one what I am pointing out, if you want to take this as the core point, then I will draw a radius for this one, and I will draw a circle to this. Then I will get the number of points for this one as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is going to become the core point, and once this is the core point, here for this border point, this core point is becoming the neighborhood. So as this core point is becoming the neighborhood, we can say this is the border point. So, and next, a noise point is any point that is not a core point or a border point. So this one which is existing here, right? So we cannot have any sort of combining this particular data point with any sort of the points existing in this particular region. So it is left out aside. Even though we'll implement the EPS technique by drawing a circle, none of the points are falling in this particular region, and none of the points are satisfying the criteria of the core point or border point. So it is called as the outlier. So hope you have understood the 5 important things. The main 2 things are the EPS and the minimum point. The one is EPS, minimum point, the core point, border point, and noise point. So the same thing in detail, where you can easily see the figure. This is the outlier, the core point, and the border point. This is another example if you look into, and I am going to make you to solve a good sort of problem if you understood these concepts very well. So the density based spatial clustering of applications with noise. So here if you look into the minimum points what I have taken are 4, and here the EPS what is being calculated, it can be either 1 centimeters, 1 millimeter, or 1 unit or 2 unit, it depends. So here the points which are all represented in the form of a red color, the red dots are nothing but the core points. All the red dots are represented as the core, and you take any one of the core point and you try to calculate the minimum whether it is satisfying the minimum point criteria or not. Let us take this particular core, this particular point. Let us assume that this particular point as a core point. So what is the minimum point criteria? It is 4. It should satisfy 4, means once you draw a circle across this particular data point, it should have minimum 4 points existing in this one. So if you take this one as the core point, the points which are existing in this one are including this point. This is 1 point, second, third, and fourth. So where in this given particular circle, it has 4 points. So we are calling it as the core point. And next you take this one. It should satisfy the same thing. And let us draw a circle across this particular one. And once you draw a circle, here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it is also satisfying the criteria of the minimum point. So it has, it is called as the core point. So like this, you consider any of the red point and try to calculate whether it is satisfying EPS and it is satisfying the minimum points criteria. If it is satisfying both of them, then we are calling it as the core point. And the next one, yellow, border point, still part of the cluster because of its within epsilon of a core point, but does not meet the minimum point criteria. So we are calling this as the border point. And in order to become a border point, what is the criteria? It should not satisfy the minimum point criteria. The number of points within a given cluster should be less than minimum point. So once you take this one, right? So the number of data points existing in this particular circle are 1, 2, 3, and 4. But the minimum points what have been given here is 4, as it is failing the criteria of the minimum point. It is been considered as the border point. Okay. And one more important point to be considered is that in order to satisfy it as a border point, any one of the point in the given 4 points in the given point, one of the points should be core point. So here, this being the border point, apart from this, any one of the other 3 points should be the core point. So here, anyhow, we have these 3 points as the core point. So it is satisfying the criteria. In the similar way with this border point, the same thing. When you take this as a circle, these 3 points are called as the core point. But as it is not meeting the criteria of 4, so it is becoming the border point. And the last one is blue, the noise point, not assigned to any of the cluster. So it is left, means we'll calculate the EPS of this one, and we have drawn a circle to this, and we are finding whether it is going to meet the minimum point criteria. Anyway, it is not meeting the minimum point criteria, either in the form of having the yellow dots, or there is no possibility of getting the red dots. So it is left idle in the form of a noise, and it is going to be called as the outlier. So if you look into the image here, we have the 2 different images we can observe here. The left side image totally represented in the blue color, and the right side image represented with the number of colors. So the left image depicts a more traditional clustering method that does not account for multi-dimensionality. So we cannot represent this particular data in multi-dimensions, and this is the output of the cluster, output of the techniques, the k-means clustering and hierarchy. After applying k-means and hierarchical clustering, what the output we got, and it is very difficult to resemble what are what is the core data, what is the border data, and what is the noise in this particular. So if you look onto the right side, the total brown color which is represented is one cluster, the blue is another, yellow is another, green is another, red is another, and the sky blue color is another cluster. And you see the dots which are existing uh, around and in between all these things are the noise are outliers which cannot be part of any sort of this cluster. But here if you look into the entire noise and everything is becoming the part of this cluster by implementing the k-means and the hierarchical on the right side. We couldn't come across any sort of these things. The same thing if you look into the left side and right side, the same sort, where we have the two different clusters which are represented in the form of oval shape, and here the two linear clusters which are represented, and this is another cluster. So totally we have 5 clusters which are being mentioned here. And on the right side, if you look into this is by applying the k-means algorithm. We have the two pink color clusters, red color clusters, green color clusters. Means it is not properly been clustered in order to get the output. So these two are very important. Kindly try to concentrate here. A point P is density reachable. Here two important criteria. Already we have seen the two parameters. One is epsilon and the other one is minimum point. And apart from that, how the data points are being classified, whether it is a core point, border point, or noise, right? So apart from these two, here we have another two important points, the density reachable and the density connected. So the density, a point P is the density reachable from a point Q with respect to epsilon and minimum point. So always we'll come across this epsilon and minimum point, always. So we need to consider epsilon and we need to consider minimum point. If there is a chain of points P1 to Pn, where P1 equal to Q and Pn equal to P, such that Pi plus 1 is directly density reachable from Pi. So here we have the points P and Q which have been mentioned here. And if you want to have the density reachable from point P to point Q, from point P to point Q, if you want to reach, then it should be connected in such a way that all the points which are falling in this particular region from P to Q, all those points should be of density points. All of them should be chainly connected, and all those points should become the core points. I think you have understood. In order to have the density reachable from P to Q, will come across the number of points starting from P1 to Pn, P1, P2, P3, P4, dash, 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 Pn, where all the points falling in between P and Q should be the core points. Okay, a point is said to be core point then only when it is present in the densed area. It is in the densed area. Next, density connected. A point P is density connected to a Q with respect to epsilon minimum points if there is a point O such that both P and Q are density reachable from O with respect to epsilon and minimum points. So here in the density reachable, in order to connect from P to Q, will come across different points where each and every point in this one is going to be the core point. Whereas in this one, in the density connected, from P to Q, if you want to connect, any one point in this one is going to become the core point, and from there we are going to connect to Q. So from here, in this one, there is a point called O, where from P to O we are going to connect, and from O to Q we are going to connect. So the point, one more point is that density reachability is not symmetric. Density connectivity inherits reflexivity and transitivity and provides the symmetry. So density reachability is not directly symmetric. We cannot directly implement the symmetric properties between P and Q. We can implement only when the density connectivity inherits the reflexivity and transitivity. So once they become the transitivity and reflexivity, then only we can implement the symmetric properties on this one. So let us have the important discussion about a problem. So these are the density based clustering, which are of the spherical shape and arbitrary shape existing here, right? So these are the data objects, and we have noted grouped them into clusters. So left side we have the spherical shaped one, right side we have the arbitrary shaped clusters. And once we have formed them into clusters, so we have the 3 different types of clusters on the left side, and we have 3 different 1, 2, 3 clusters on the right side. So k-means versus density based clustering. K-means assigns all points to a cluster even if they do not belong in any. So you see here the important statement to understand. K-means assigns all points to a cluster even if they do not belong in any. So even you see here a few of the points which are represented in the gray color, these points will not belong to any sort of cluster given here. But by using the k-means algorithm, the k-means method, these gray points are going to be pushed into any of these given 3 clusters. And on the right side, you see density based clustering locates regions of high density and separates outliers. So on the right side also we could see the same gray color, where the density based technique will not make these gray dots as a part of any sort of the clusters you see here. So you see here the gray colors, when you implement the k-means technique, they are becoming part of any one of the clustering. But whereas by implementing the density based clustering technique, they are left as the noise or outliers, because the density based clustering is not making them to be part of any sort of the clusters. So DB scan for class identification. So if you look into the image here, this is one of the Canadian image for identifying the different control stations. So if you look into this image, all the data points are arbitrarily represented here without any size, without any sort of shape. But once we implement the DB scan algorithm, then they are going to be formed in this particular fashion. So few will be represented here in the form of one shape. Here, this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have all 5 clusters which are represented here, and all the data points which are existing in these particular clusters are going to give the same sort of output irrespective of the cluster in which they are. You see here all the data points which are represented in the green color, all are going to give the same sort of output. The blue dots are going to give the same sort of output, and the red one is going to give the same sort of output. So this is the main importance of the density based clustering technique. So density DB scan is density based spatial clustering of application with noise, where R represents the radius of neighborhood and M represents the minimum number of neighbors. We are going to see this one. So here the radius of the neighborhood, if you see R radius of neighborhood, that it includes enough number of points within. So I am considering a point here, and I have drawn a radius here represented by R, and I have drawn a circle across this one. And I can say that this is nothing but the radius of this particular data point, and it needs to certainly satisfy. M represents the minimum number of neighbors. The minimum, just what we have seen. Suppose if you have 4 or 3 minimum we have taken randomly, then all those points need to be fall in this particular circle. So the minimum number of data points we want in a neighborhood to define a cluster. So we have the minimum number of data points which are represented as 5 or 4 something. So we have the 4 different data points which are represented in blue color, and this red being the core point, right? Because by taking it as the center, we have uh, drawn a radius and we have encircled this particular area, and the points which are falling in this particular radius, we are calling them as the neighborhood, and they have become the part of this particular circle. So how this DBs can work, each point is either a core point, border point, outer point. So we can take the example of this one. R equal to radius is 2 units and M is 6, the minimum point. So we are going to have an example by applying across this one, where R being the 2 unit and M being the 6. So R is equal to 2 is nothing but the radius, just what we have seen. This radius, what we have calculated, should be of the 2 units, the 2 centimeters or 2 millimeters, across which we are going to draw a circle. And this 6 represents the minimum number of points which need to be existing in this particular circle, including this core point. Okay. So I am considering this particular. Arbitrarily. I am selecting randomly as a core point, and I am going to draw a circle across this one, and I should see whether the 6 number of minimum points criteria is meeting or not. If it meets, then only it is going to become the core point, otherwise it is not going to become the core point. So I am going to draw a circle with the radius of 2 units. So I have drawn the radius of 2 units here, and I have drawn a circle for this one. And once I have drawn the circle for this one, let us see what is the minimum number of points. The minimum number of points criteria is 6. So let me count how many points are existing in this particular circle. So including this red dot, so including this data point what I have selected, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I have come across the 6 different points in the given radius, and it is meeting the criteria of hello. It is meeting the criteria of 6. So once it is meeting the criteria of 6, just you see, we have drawn a circle with radius of R equal to 2 units, and it is meeting the minimum criteria of 6. So this particular point is becoming the core point. Now it is the core point. Okay, because we have the point, and around that particular point we have some 5 different points. So hello. So in total we have 6 different points. And next, let us see the next case, the border point. So this is the core point what I have selected, and now as this point is already marked as the core point, it will be in the red color itself. And now I am going to talk about this particular point, and I want to check whether this point is going to become the core point or the border point. So I have selected this particular point and calculated the radius of 2 units, and I have encircled this one. And once I have encircled here, what is the number of points I am getting and what is the criteria? The criteria being mentioned here is M equal to 6, and where I could come across only 5 points in this particular region. So as it is not meeting the criteria, this point will not become core point anymore, and it is the border point, and I am representing it as it in yellow color. Hope you have understood this. Why I have made this one as the border point. Simply not that I have written the border point this one. I have drawn a radius for this, and I have encircled this one, and I am calculating whether the number of points, the criteria M is equal to 6 is matching or not, as it is failing because including this particular point, we could have only 5 points in this particular circle. This is becoming the border point. Okay, and next I'm going to traverse to some other point and to check whether it is a core or border point. And now I am moving to this particular point, and I have drawn a circle for this one, and I am calculating whether it is meeting 6-point criteria or not. And this is 1.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So as we are forming more than, even we can say this as also one of the points in this one, more than 6 points existing in this one, I am calling it as the 4 point. Okay, so this is how we are going to calculate the 4 points and border point, and next see what happens in the figure if I want to move to some other image. So like this, next I'm moving downwards, and I could see this is another red point, and I want to check whether it is meeting the criteria or not. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as it is meeting the criteria, this point is also becoming the 4 point once again. And next, okay, at this point I want to measure. Okay, and like this we have 4 different sort of 4 points, and the remaining as the border points, and I'm left out with 1 point here, and I want to calculate the radius and the minimum criteria for this one. And if I look into this one, it even though I draw the radius for this and circle for this, and I want to calculate m is equal to 6 criteria for this one, which is not matching at all, because except the given data point, there are no other points nearby to this one or falling under the circumference of this particular area. So I am going to call this as the outlier. So as this is the part of, this is the outlier of this entire data set, I am not going to combine this outlier or noise into any sort of these clusters. So next, like this, I have calculated the one. Upon calculating the criteria here in this particular cluster, these 4 points are becoming the border points, and this is becoming the 4 points. So you remember that in the given data set, at any given point of time, we need to complete traversing each and every data point. Means at least one time we need to scan all the data points to check whether it is the core point, it is the border point, or it is the noise or outlier. So by meeting this criteria, this particular point has fallen into the criteria of m is equal to 6, and it has become the core point. So now I have formed them, grouped them into clusters. You see, this is one cluster, this is another cluster, and this is another cluster. Okay, so we have 3 different clusters, and we are not making this outlier as a part of any sort of these 2 clusters. It is left isolated as a separate one because it is the noise. So advantages of this DB scan: arbitrarily shaped clusters. So with the help of this one, we can have the arbitrarily shaped clusters, whereas with the k-means and hierarchical one, where we have the clusters with some respect to size in the form of eclipse, ellipse, circle, square, etc., etc. And it will not have any sort of outliers. So it is robust to outliers, means it is not noise prone. Robust to outliers. Outliers is nothing but noise. Robust to noise in the sense it is noise free, means it will act tough against the noise data existing in the cluster, and does not require specification of the number of clusters. So as in the k-means and the hierarchical one, where we need to have the predetermined data set, and we need to have the number of clusters. K-means means we need to represent in advance what is this k and how many number of k we want. K represents the number of clusters where the data set need to be divided into. Whereas in this one, there is no need to mention the number of clusters especially. So this is the DB scan algorithm. Let us go with this algorithm and conclude today's class. So arbitrarily select a point, what we have done already. Retrieve all points which are density reachable from P with respect to EPS and minimum point. So you blindly remember that in order to apply the DB scan technique, we need to know two important parameters, epsilon EPS and the minimum point criteria. If P is a core point, a cluster is formed, and if P is a border point, no points are density reachable from P, and DBs can visit the next point of the database. So if P is a border point, so if P is becoming the border point, we cannot draw any sort of cluster across that one. We can make a cluster across a particular area, then only when we come across a core point. That is what we have done in our previous example. Wherever we have come across the red, from that particular point only we have formed a cluster, and not from the border point or noise point. And continue the process until all of the points have been processed. So you see here, it has to move across until all the points will get traversed. And the computational complexity is, if a spatial index is used, the computational complexity of DB scan is O of n log n, where n is the number of database objects. Otherwise, the complexity is O of n square. You see here, the difference between the computational complexity for this one and this. If it is, if we are applying the DB scan technique on the normal data set, then the complexity of calculating is O of n log n. If you are applying on the spatial data, then the computational complexity is O of n log n. Otherwise, if you are applying the same technique on the normal data, then the complexity is O of n square. So this is the end of today's session, the DB scan algorithm. So if you have any sort of doubt, please feel free to ask me. Already it is 4:06. I hope the next faculty is in line, but I'll request them to give me 2 minutes of time for clearing of doubts, and I'll hand over the session to the next faculty. Students, if you have any sort of doubts, please you can raise. Yeah, please. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me, student?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Any doubt for anyone?
Sir, Nikita is asking, can you repeat from what is DB scan?
What is DB scan?
Yes, sir.
It is not possible to repeat the entire program once again. If you have any sort of doubts, please you can, because this video can be uploaded onto the portal, then you can listen once again. I think she might have logged in between. That's why she is having problem. So DB scan is the density based spatial clustering of application with noise. The next question. Then what you need, not the entire, then what she needs, kindly ask. You can ask directly, or if you have trouble, you can type here.
Sir, only the...
Yeah. Please
what
tell
is
me.
DB scan?
DB scan stands for density based spatial clustering of
Like
applications
the
with noise.
definition answer.
Yeah, ma, the definition itself, what I am saying, DB scan, the name says, D stands for density, B for base, S for spatial, C for clustering, A for applications with noise. The most applications which are noise prone, for them, the DB scan is going to function especially well, so that the outliers or noise can be easily removed from that one when compared to k-means clustering and hierarchical clustering. In those two techniques, we cannot remove the noise, where noise is also becoming the part of the clusters there. But whereas here, the noise can be removed and they can be called as outliers. So we cannot, will come across no noise, and the quality clusters we can come across using DBSCAN. Clear? Next, anyone? Next, please make it fast. I am concluding the session. So what is the next class you have? The next
Linux programming, sir. Lab. Linux lab.
Linux lab you have. Oh, then no
Yes,
problem.
sir.
You can go with a few questions also.
Okay,
Sir is online?
Sir, no, sir. Sir did not.
Or has not yet joined, right?
No.
So meanwhile,
No,
kindly
no, sir.
we can go with the question and answers if you have any in this one. You can feel
Sir,
free to ask.
Okay. Sir. Sir, in the above PPT, the min points are 6, no, sir. The min points are should be 6, but in there are only 5.
This one, right?
At last
seeing
to
the
third
PPT?
PPT. No, sir.
Last
Just I have remembered that.
third one.
At last. There are only 5, no, sir. This side. Radius is 2 and the min points are only 5. That's. Sir, in this one only. In this slide, there are only 5 min points.
Right. If this is the case, then I would have mentioned m equal to 5.
Yes, sir. But core point is 1.
Yeah. Because I have represented it as a core point mean, then m can be 5 or something. It's up to us how many, what the min we need to mention, whether it can be 4, 3, 5.
So,
as much as low, it will be good.
Okay, sir. It is not constant.
Point.
Okay,
yeah,
sir.
it is not constant.
Okay,
Means
sir.
once, for a given problem, it should be constant. Remember that.
Okay, sir. If they did not mention any min points, we can take anything.
Certainly, they won't mention any min point in this algorithm. We need to take min points on our own, and we need to make them into a cluster.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Next. You can give in your chat window also. You can type in the chat window if you can't convey. Hello? Any doubts from yesterday's class from the hierarchical clustering? We have gone through the technique.
ఏవో వస్తాయి కదా మళ్ళీ. ఫిఫ్టీ మనకి 4,11,000 వచ్చిందిరా. అంటే నా దాంట్లో మినిమం బ్యాలెన్స్ ఎకరానికి 15,000 కొనుక్కోవాలి. బంగారం కొనుక్కుంటే కలిసి వచ్చింది. బంగారం కొంటాం గ్రామ్ అన్న 3,000 ఉంటుంది గ్రామ్.
కాదండి సీక్రెట్ తెప్పించి
The students, are you there? No doubts to any of the students?